All right, well, thanks for joining us, Jay. What we're
Yep.
going to do is we're going to talk to you a little bit about the current team, the future of the team.
Okay.
It should be maybe 15 minutes tops or so. Do you
All
want
right.
us to plug anything like that before we go on?
Nope. I'm just ready to talk about the Bears.
Okay.
Hey Jay,
Yeah.
we're not. Just so you know, we don't want to do that bit. You know that SNL did that back in the '90s, and we don't want to do the whole Da Bears
All
thing.
right.
So
What are you talking about?
Well, talk about the Bears game, but that the Bears
yeah,
thing, that's
Well,
like a
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I want to talk about the Bears.
yeah. But Jay, the Bears. I mean, come on, that was from like 1989.
I
Mike Ditka was still
I,
coaching.
I don't have any recollection of what you're talking about.
Um, it was an SNL bit, man. Did you ever watch SNL in the '90s?
Uh, can't say that I did. I did see the
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. Yeah, he was a big dude, pretty funny,
Yeah, yeah.
boisterous. I saw his Matt Foley skit. That's about it though. He would
Oh,
Chris
okay.
Farley
Well,
would
he had this.
I think he'd be a good center if we could
Yeah,
find
well, he
him.
had this bit where it was him and George Wendt, and they would pretend to be Bears fans. So they would go the Bears.
Really?
hey. Are we ready to talk football?
All right, let's talk about the Bears.
It's the hog style.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Hogsty. This is Alex talking to you right now, and with me, as always, we have Steve. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Here for another week of Redskins football.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, that yippee was from none other than Robbie J. Gruden Duncan.
What up, everybody? Playing the
How's
Bears.
it going, Robbie? Yeah.
We don't actually have Jay in studio with us today, unfortunately.
Yeah. What would we ever do if we did get a Redskins
Oh,
coach? I think we
we'd
would
have to
just
have
go-
Robbie interview him as Jay. I mean, there'd be no other no other choice.
He couldn't say he's Jay. That would get weird.
We bring in
No,
Bill
we'd have
Callahan.
to. If we ever
and I-
interview Jay, you're going to have to interview Jay as Jay.
Yeah.
We have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or you just can't break character the whole time. It'd be tough.
That would be the funniest thing
I'd
ever.
have to practice,
Yeah.
but yes, I think I could do that.
Yeah. Well, guys, it feels like we still aren't over last week, but we already got to get ready for this next game against Chicago, right? I mean, that's the nature of Monday Night Football. You're still not over it until you have to play again, right?
Yeah, they're a very similar team to us too. That's the thing. They've been very
Yeah.
hot and cold. We've been hot and cold.
Same record.
Yeah. Now,
Oh,
the thing that scares me, they've beaten the Packers, who are a pretty good team led by one
Yeah.
of the best quarterbacks in the league. So
In Green Bay too.
in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And we're on the road at Chicago. So
Yeah.
yikes.
And just to talk about that real quick, I saw a weather report. It's going to be windy and rainy for this game.
Windy and rainy.
know how that-
Not snowy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I didn't look at the temperature, but
Yeah.
there's going to be precipitation.
Well,
I don't know if that affects how you got a game plan. I'd assume so.
I don't know if it does, honestly, in this particular case. The Bears aren't just similar to us. If you look at, because, I'm me and I've looked at the statistics for these teams, it is remarkable
Right.
how similar, from a statistical production standpoint, how similar these teams really are. They have the same strengths, the same weaknesses. The rankings are very similar across the board. They're a terrible rush D,
Right.
they're a terrible run defense, just like we are. They have a better pass defense statistically than we do. They're a decent running team, not a good running team. Neither are we. Their passing, from a statistical standpoint, is kind of middle of the road. The difference is, from an offensive standpoint, is they go downfield more. They've got three
Right.
receivers that are all averaging like 14 yards a carry or a catch rather and up.
Yeah.
They're running.
They have some talented
They
receivers.
do.
there
Alshon
that-
Jeffrey and
He's a beast.
Martellus Bennett, and not Martellus Bennett. What's his first name?
Eddie Royal.
Well, Eddie Royal.
Yeah,
but,
they have Royal.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Bennett, they have him anyway. Point is, they have some talent, but it just even down to average time of possession is very similar. They're ranked, they're ranked fifth. We're ranked sixth. The third down conversion rate, we're ranked 13th. They're ranked 12th. They're not a great sacking team. They have 26 sacks and are ranked 20th. We have 21, ranked 25th. It is amazing how similar this team is, and that's also why the line that Vegas said is -3.5. Bears,
Right, which basically,
Pick 'em.
We've said this before. Vegas always gives 3 points to the home team,
Right.
so
It's a pick 'em game.
that means that they're favored by about a half point, really, even money wise.
Yeah, and that was just a
Yeah,
couple. I
and-
didn't check every source either. Some of them it might have been less,
Sure,
might have been
sure.
more. It's a pick 'em game basically. So
Yep.
to me, to answer your question about the weather, I think if we're smart, this is the game to get our running game healthy on, because these guys are terrible against the run. But yet, they're ranked where is their defensive stats? They're ranked number 2 in passing yards in the NFL.
Yes, but they are number 2 in passing yards. But I looked into their passing. I didn't look into all their stats. I leave that to you, Steve.
Yeah.
But I was looking at their passing stats with arguing with somebody on the blog today, and they don't allow a lot of yards, but overall, a lot of touchdowns allowed so far. 21 touchdowns by their defense in terms of passing TDs.
That's why they've lost
And,
7 games.
but they allow about 60% completion, which that's not good for a defense. So you can pass on them. It's just going to be more efficient passing.
Yeah, I mean they're
It's
eighth
not
in
gonna be-
they're eighth in passing yards per attempt. Opposing team quarterback rating 92.5. Which puts them kind of in
Yeah.
the middle, sort of where the lower middle. It's kind of where we are. But yeah, 60.
Yeah, but I mean, that does mean you can move the ball on them.
Yeah, they can.
Just not.
And teams have scored points on them, but it's a little skewed because they got blown out, early by Seattle.
Right. Right. Lately, they've been very good.
Yeah, this is a team that has improved, as the weeks have gone on. Now, the funny thing is they're 1-5 at home and we're 0-5 on the road. So it's, the blind
Something's gotta
meeting the
give.
blind. Yeah, exactly. Someone's
Yeah,
got to win. We
exactly.
can't be a 0-0 tie. Well, it can be, I guess.
I
Let's hope it's not.
I would love to look through the history books and see if that's ever happened, but I'm not going to spend the time right now.
and find out how many people slept through a game like that. My goodness.
Well,
That's like a soccer game.
Now, speaking of the history books, just some little background on the Redskins Bears. A lot of people forget this. The Bears were an early rival for the Redskins back in the 30s and 40s. When we were the first Redskins dynasty from the 36 to the World War II era, the Sammy Baugh era, the Bears and Redskins met 4 times for the championship and split that 2-2. So we have a little bit of a background, a little bit of a history with the Bears. I'm not saying it's the Cowboys or the Giants or anything, but we've played this team for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Well, I have 2 things to respond to that. Number one, the worst blowout in NFL history was 73-0 Bears over Redskins during that time period.
Yeah.
And number
That
2,
was one of those championship games.
yeah, number 2 is the all-time head-to-head record is actually 20-20-1.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
so this is the tiebreaker game right here.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. I would have thought we'd played them more than 41 times in all the years, but we haven't. So
Well, we've never been in the same conference. Before the merger, they were the West Coast. They were in the Western Conference. We were in the East. So
Yeah.
that doesn't totally surprise me.
well, if we can get back to football, Robbie, what's our game plan? I told you my thoughts. What do you think?
I think we just got to run the ball. I think that every week. It's always one of my keys in the keys to victory. You have to run the ball. We have to block better up front. We have to execute the running game. And did you guys hear what Gruden said during the week? He actually did say that he thinks the running backs are cutting back too early, and I said that in our recap. I think the running backs were looking to cut back too much instead of actually pressing the point of attack. So I think it's just both aspects of the game, of the running game, have to actually
Sync
perform
up.
and do well. And that is the key. We have to run the ball so we can take pressure off Kirk and let him be in more of a comfort zone.
Right. Well, speaking of the backs, I did see that Thompson hasn't been practicing all week.
Thompson's probably not going to play.
And yeah, he's probably out. Gruden's said something like that he's worried that Thompson won't play this week. So that means we got both our power guys and no speed back.
So
well, you notice
Alfred
the
Morris
teams
is going to have to play then. In that case,
Yeah,
he's going to have no
exactly.
choice but to play Alfred.
Yeah, he's going to have to get out of Gruden's stock. Gruden has taken a lot of heat this week from the fans over the lack of playing time for Daryl Young. The fullback, and I really, I think it's more of a system thing. I mean, I've been very critical of Jay over the months for failing to adapt his system to the strengths of his players, and I think this is an example of how that happens, or how that's not happened, rather.
Yeah, well, I was banging that drum for a long time about Daryl Young, and I'm about ready to just say, yep, it's just not going to happen. Young's gone.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty clear.
Gruden just has his preference. He likes single back with tight ends.
So does Callahan, by the way. Callahan's also a single back guy.
He likes
but
single back with
was
motioning tight ends and going into different formations.
There was a guy named Joe Gibbs who coached here once, who from what I understand, was fairly successful with the Redskins. And one of the things that Joe Gibbs did well was he knew how to adapt his team, adapt the offense to match the strengths of what they did. The 83 team, running team, ran, no matter what, they're going to run the ball. 91 passed a heck of a lot.
91 was an aired out team.
Same coach. He didn't have his system was, let me figure out what we do best. The problem I have with the macro problem with Jay is that he didn't do that. It's my system, period, no matter what. We have an asset like Daryl Young, and he's not being used. And Alfred Morris likes running behind him,
I agree with you, especially when it comes to the running game. I do believe Jay tailors the entire passing offense to whoever his quarterback is.
He didn't do that for Robert Griffin at all.
Well, no, he did not do that for Griffin, but there were a whole myriad of issues when it came to
Well,
Griffin.
I just think let's not get into that. I just think he didn't like Griffin from day one, and Griffin was sunk with him, and that was it, basically.
Well, but my point is, he said multiple times that when he goes into halftime, the first thing he's always trying to figure out is, what is Kirk not doing that I need him to do? How do I tailor my game plan to Kirk? So, that's what his, how he adjusts his offense. He's worried about the passing game.
Yeah, I read an article from Base. I wish I could remember the source because I can't. But it was a Bears beat writer did a breakdown of what the Bears fans need to look for, and on offense they talked about how the Redskins passing offense is the reads are simplified to give Cousins the opportunity to get the ball out quickly, kind of in his comfort zone. It's not a complex passing system.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, and I thought that was, an insightful thing. I'll try to find the source of that before we go off the air here.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, okay, so let's get back to what does our offense do to, move the ball, other than obviously run the ball? I think if the weather is going to be bad, that means you can't be expecting a lot of throws downfield. If you're talking about 15 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts, that's going to affect any deep ball.
And we're used to that at this point. I mean, we don't throw it downfield anyway, hardly at all. But we got to run screens. It's Gruden loves to run screens, and when he calls it, we got to execute it. And
slants.
Yeah, slants. I mean, that again, that should have been something we threw more of back last week or Monday night against the Cowboys. We got good yards off the slant. But short slants. Anything to get the ball out of Kirk's hands quick, slow down the pass rush, all that stuff.
Well, and also I think the interior of our offensive line needs to do a better job of recognizing what the defensive line is doing in the run game and the passing game both. Because I think, neither Jones nor Morris I thought was really on against Dallas, obviously. But as you showed, Robbie, in your breakdowns, and as Mark Bullock from the Washington Post showed, and others, a big part of the problem was the offensive line, and then another part of the problem was the predictability of the play calling by the coaching staff. And so I think it's the problem with the run game really is the coaching, the offensive line, especially the interior of the offensive line, in addition to just, like Almo hadn't been sharp all year, basically. He just hasn't. But it's not
Yeah,
just
he had
them.
one good game.
It's not just them.
No.
It's a combination of everything.
Well, one quick question I don't know offhand. Do we know if any of these other tight ends are going to be healthy finally?
Well, I'll go over the injury. I have the injury report from. We're recording this
Okay.
on Thursday, so this is as of Thursday. Derek Carrier has an ankle problem, but he was a full participant in practice today, Thursday.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Good.
and Ham is not on the injury report, as if that matters. And Jordan
Yeah,
Reed
I
is
mean, he didn't even get in the game.
and Jordan Reed is not on the injury report, so it's just Carrier.
Well, Carrier's the one I'm kind of talking about because he's a better blocker than Jordan Reed, and him being
Barely.
in the game rather than putting in Compton, it means that you're less predictable. Oh, we saw Will Compton come in, we're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
That thing's not going to happen as much.
Again, we have Daryl Young has lined up as an H back. By the way,
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan had him do it. This is not new. I think
Yeah.
they need to get a little bit creative if that's possible, and use Daryl Young in kind of in a role like that because he's a much better blocker than any of the tight ends we have. Obviously,
Yeah, probably.
why can't he line up in that role? Is there some reason?
Because he's
Not
5'10".
Not as a tight end, but use him as an H back. Surely that's in the playbook somewhere.
I mean, that's kind of what a fullback is.
Yeah, an
most of the
H-back,
time.
there's really not that much difference between an H-back
Well, they
and a
line up
fullback.
farther forward, and a little bit to the side as opposed to an I or an offset I formation.
Right.
It's not
Right.
the same
Yeah.
as a fullback. My point is, all my point.
It's one step north, one step sideways. I don't know.
It's alignment and stuff, but yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
much the same thing. H-backs are more likely to, catch the ball than fullbacks are.
Yeah,
Basically.
go out in the flats. I mean, Cooley was an H-back.
Yeah, he was.
Let's not forget that.
I guess my point is,
people
if they need
forget
somebody
that
that can block, you've got Daryl Young sitting there. I don't think he's the panacea, and he's not going
Right.
to fix everything by himself, but it's an asset that needs to be used more effectively, particularly when we don't have any tight end that can block, worth a darn. Right now, at least.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, that's something that I'm actually surprised that McLuhan hasn't gone out and found a good blocking tight end.
Well, that I was
Well,
going
I
to say
mean-
though. Did you hear? Cooley apparently thinks that Jerron Ham is a McLuhan guy, but Jay Gruden doesn't like him or doesn't want him. Did you hear something
That's
about
a-
that? I did.
I
Craig
did not.
Hoffman.
I didn't hear that.
Craig Hoffman on Twitter was talking about it a couple days ago during Cooley's film breakdowns. He thinks that there's a bit of a difference between McLuhan and Gruden on Jerron Ham, apparently.
So we're just going to go without a blocking tight end, I guess, in the meantime.
Seems
I
like it.
guess.
And to be fair to McLuhan, we did have a massive injury problem at tight end. We
Yeah.
lost
Yeah,
our
oh, yeah.
we lost 2 of 3 for the season early on, and I get why we're struggling, but that doesn't mean we couldn't pick somebody up who can block. For goodness
Yeah.
sakes,
Yeah.
surely they're out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Robbie Duncan, I'm sure you're available.
I'm more at a tight end weight now, that's for sure.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. You need to maybe send a tape in or something.
Yeah.
I've actually wondered why you don't see teams do that from time to time. Take guys out of college who were smaller linemen and just work them into the tight end.
Because they like the guys that are a lot more athletic.
Yeah, I know.
like-
I'm just using reverse psychology.
They go out and they go get
You
power
know.
forwards from college though on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Antonio Gates was a power forward, but go ahead.
Nothing. I was just going to say about the Bears' defense and what we need to do against them. We need to be prepared for the Bears to pretty much copy exactly what Dallas did.
A lot of stunts and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Blitz,
I mean they
blitz,
run the same
blitz.
kind of defense too. 4 down, cover 2 style. They don't really do a lot of fancy stuff, but I think the Dallas really just showed the blueprint. You get that offensive
Yeah,
line,
it's interior rushing.
You get that offensive line confused, then
The
Kirk's
quarterback
gonna panic.
rattled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kirk's going to panic, and then you'll get a repeat of Monday night. So
The difference here, though, is that they're very vulnerable on the run, whereas Dallas was not. They're not a great run defensive team, but they had better linebackers. They were more solid. Chicago's terrible on the run. They're giving up 4.8 yards per attempt, which is like in Redskins territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold that it's going to be run the ball to win entirely. If the weather's bad, then yeah, you kind of have to. But I really don't know enough about just where Chicago's weakest link is, because early in the season, I know people were saying it was going to be their secondary, but it looks like, at least on paper, their secondary's worked out much better than everyone thought. So, hopefully they find a weak link.
I just I think the weather is an important factor when it comes to the passing game. You said it before, because you can't have use Deshaun Jackson properly and running a 60-yard go route if there's a 30-knot wind in his face. Yeah. Gosh, that was a pilot term. Sorry. If there's a 30-mile per hour.
I think we all know knots.
Yeah. If there's a 30-mile-per-hour wind, unless your name is Jeff George, you're not throwing a ball 60 yards down the field.
Well, and if your name's Jeff George, you're going to throw it 60 yards down the field to the other team.
Yeah, you're going to try it, and it's not going to work out.
Maybe that's why Rex Grossman was there for so long in Chicago. He could throw the deep ball.
Screw it, I'm going deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was part of that club.
Yeah. Okay, well, do we want to talk a little bit about what the Skins defense is going to be able to do against this offense?
Let's do.
Biggest question is, what are they going to do to stop Matt Forte? That's the big thing, I think.
The Bears do have a lot of weapons, don't they?
Matt Forte, I mean, obviously he can beat you with his legs in the running game, but he's also a very solid receiving back. He's been one of the best receiving backs for many years now. And
he has.
He's a good dual threat back. My first reaction, if you're saying that, is luckily Will Compton started. Yeah. And I just would probably say, Will Compton, your job is to, kind of be the spy on Forte most of the game.
You know what? I'm wondering, if you look at some of the talented linebackers that are out there, I like Will Compton. He's a great, solid player. He's improving. But I don't know if linebacker is really a strength of ours. Inside linebacker, we've got two young guys. One, Mason Foster, is a guy off the street, basically. Will Compton isn't far from it.
Last week, but
he did, but, if you look at, like, Sean Lee and, some of these talented middle linebackers. If you're going to
compare them to the top,
we don't really have that.
No.
It's not really a strength. I think those two guys are saving us from being really, really weak at linebacker.
What we have is and I'll include the guys who are hurt now, Robinson and Perry Riley. What we have is a lot of guys who are C-plus guys, maybe bordering on being B-level guys.
Yeah.
I think Will Compton can progress and be even more than that, but he just needs to show it.
I think he could be a really good linebacker paired with someone that's the
equally
B-plus,
an elite level
kind of player.
An elite level talent.
Yeah, he'd be the good complement, the tackle machine to the playmaker, that kind of thing.
That's kind of what I think of him too. He's got that speed where he can get sideline to sideline quickly.
I think,
and the other one can gamble then.
I think the Redskins fan base got too high on Keenan Robinson too early. We all thought he was great, and I think all of us on this show said it, earlier in the year. But if you watched him play, it didn't really live up to the hype.
I still think
this year at least. I'm not saying he's going to be run out of DC or anything, but I don't know if I think we all kind of hoped he was going to become a bigger, better London Fletcher.
We hoped he would take the next step.
Yeah, and he really didn't do that before he got hurt.
No, he's just kind of meandering around above average.
And a lot of people will say it's because of his injuries this year, but
maybe
a lot of other people say it's not just because of the injury. He just hasn't been doing well.
Right.
I would say it's because of his freakishly large neck. If you see pictures of him without a helmet on, that thing is 3 inches wider than his head.
Yeah. That's a strange looking neck if it's 3 inches wider than his head.
Go find a picture of him. He's got a huge neck.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's kind of linebackers, but the other big problem is, they do have talented receivers who get downfield a lot.
Yep.
These guys are not. This is not a dink and dunk offense. This is not a West Coast offense. This is not
No,
a
they're
dink and
an air
dunk
it
its
out.
way down the field. Yeah, they're a traditional run the ball to set up the pass, air it out, go downfield. Jay Cutler's a gunslinger in the mold of Brett Favre. Jay's going to make mistakes. He doesn't care. He's going to go do it right back again. Everybody remembers the infamous 2010 game where he threw 4 interceptions to D'Angelo Hall.
Right.
If that's a case of, that would have rattled in most quarterbacks. It's rattled Redskins quarterbacks over the years. Jay Cutler didn't care. He just kept doing it. And that's a Brett Favre gunslinger attitude. And that's what we have. This dude is going to air it out. He's going to go air it out to Alshon Jeffrey. He's got Zach Miller, the tight end who catches a lot of touchdowns. They have talent, and so our secondary is going to have to play another tough physical game, I think, against these guys.
And the D-line,
I agree.
The D-line has to help them out. They have to get pressure on Jay Cutler.
Which is something they haven't been doing really all year.
Yeah.
Aside from a
And
game or
Cutler-
two here or there, they have, but that's it.
We have to remember Cutler does have some ability to him. He's not a total statue.
He when he is on, he is on.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Yeah.
He has the potential to really kill you if he gets in a groove. But when he's in a bad groove, it's
It
like
goes
Kirk.
south rapidly. Yeah.
High highs and low lows.
Yeah.
He might have more extremes than Kirk.
Yeah, he
Because
does, he
when
does.
he's really good, he's
Yeah.
an elite level quarterback, along with the best. But when it goes bad, it goes really bad. And I think what you
Yeah.
were saying, Alex, is he has some mobility to him. He can move a little bit. He's not a Tom Brady statue back there. No.
Right.
But
I'm not saying he'll take off, but I'm saying
He can
get
move
you a
around.
few
don't
yards.
expect your edge rushers to just come and collapse on him. He'll move up in the pocket. He'll move around a little.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
we've
still
been
one
saying
you have
this
to
ab-
keep contain on.
Yeah, we've been saying this about our defense for weeks and weeks now, it seems like. But Joe Barry's system is predicated on the front 3 or front 4, depending on what our alignment
Yeah,
is.
what the call is.
It's predicated on them getting pressure because he's just not going to blitz. He just isn't going to blitz, almost ever. And if that doesn't happen, which it hasn't happened really, very much this year, there could be problems, particularly when you have a gunslinger quarterback. Puts a lot of pressure on the secondary, and thus far our secondary's kind of risen to the occasion, but it's a bunch of young guys, sooner or later it's going to come back to haunt them, I think.
Yeah.
I agree. The good news is if it's bad weather, that we can say it'll affect Kurt probably more than Cutler, but it would affect his passing game too a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have, weather is an equal opportunity offender. So
Certainly. The coin flip
but-
may be important in this,
yeah,
in this game. I don't know. I have not paid any attention whatsoever to how well we've done on coin flips this year, but
We haven't been very good, I don't think.
no,
Really?
no.
Okay.
I think there was a running gag like 2 weeks ago that Jay hadn't won one yet.
I think you're right.
why does that not surprise me? That's very Redskins, it really is.
I think the first one we won was New England. I think that's when they were talking about it.
A game that we got smoked in.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we were going to get smoked in that one anyway, Steve.
I want to kind of
We could have gotten the kickoff both halves, and we still would
wouldn't
have
have
lost.
I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Alex, about Will Compton covering Matt Forte. But I think the person that'd be best for, being the guy to cover him would be Jarrett, Kaishon Jarrett.
That's another good option. Yeah,
I think he's
like that.
got the versatility and the speed to stick with him more so than Will Compton. Will Compton would be the more physical guy to put on him, but Jarrett, I think, could handle both situations.
I like both of them in this situation, so I'm not going to disagree with you. Jarrett, if they decide Jarrett's a better option, I would go with Jarrett.
And let's not, fool ourselves here. The Bears are not a great passing team statistically. This is not the Saints. This is not the Patriots. They're 19th in total yards. They're 20th in passing
They're
yards.
not, despite the fact that they have talented players too. That's what surprises you.
Well, they haven't executed.
They don't have
because
a very good offensive line either. Not the best.
Because Jay has not been bad this year. Jay's had a fairly decent year for him. Because he goes up and down. He's got. We'll just go over Jay's stats real fast. Jay Cutler, 2,712 yards, 62.7% completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, quarterback rating of 90.1. So that's Jay Cutler
that's
this
solid.
year. Yeah, I
mean,
it could be, could be worse, could be better. He's had his ups and downs. I think this is kind of a middle of the road year for him.
I still have the old mentality where if you have a quarterback rating anything in the 90s,
You know what?
or
It's
up,
changed.
Yeah.
It's different.
I know it has, but still.
The completion percentage mark used to be 60%. If you're throwing 60% now, that's
You're getting cut. I know.
yeah. You really got to think 65% is starting to be good.
Yeah. Which is insane because it changed in a matter of 2 or 3 years.
It really did. Yeah.
I feel like.
Yep.
Did any of you guys happen to see? I think it was just today, actually. ESPN put out some top 10 or whatever list of coaches in the NFL. They have like their own grading system. I know you're just excited for this, Steve.
I saw
God.
it. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was a top 10 list of coaching decisions when it comes to fourth downs.
It was like called
penalties.
Strategic Thinker or something
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Game
strategic
management,
thinking.
basically.
Yeah. It was clock management, not penalties, challenge flags, and fourth downs. Those are the 3 things they were looking
And
at.
Jay was number 4.
I don't get it. I mean, number one, that's a dumb metric anyway, if to the extent they're calling it a metric. Jay's done a lot better with clock management this year. Last year it was just a train wreck, and this year it's been pretty good.
It's not surprising. Rookie coaches usually have problems with clock management. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I didn't read the article, so I don't know what they were citing. It just seemed like a very strange list to me. That's
You have to
all.
be an ESPN insider to read it, but
Yeah, I'm not paying ESPN. I'm not paying you $9.99 a month to
to
read
read your
yourself.
crap.
To
To
read-
read your
yeah.
crap. Because that's what it is. It's crap.
To read-
half of
it
what they
is.
put out is nonsense.
it's basically to read crap you could find at other websites like Bleacher Report or anything
Right.
else that's pretty much free and get the same
Right.
thing out of it.
Well, Kuiper's mock drafts. you need to. Robbie will do a mock draft for you for free, just for fun. All you have to do is maybe buy him a hot dog.
if I know Alex like I know Alex, you're going to do 1,000 of them for fun.
Well, I'll probably start doing those. Okay, I've already done maybe 4 this year.
That's
Alex
you
and I
wanna
will
hear
probably
us-
do like a competition. We'll have like a running competition of who gets the best graded draft.
On one of those ones that grades
Yeah.
you. Yeah, we can do that.
You want to hear us? This is kind of off the Bears topic, but
Yeah.
this is a strange stat because as I was doing my research, the stats research for the
Sure.
written page and everything, I happened to notice the Saints opposing team quarterback rating. Like for the Redskins,
That's a random one. Saints?
well, yeah, because it was just on the list. Like for example, the Redskins have given opposing quarterbacks a 93.5 rating, which isn't that
Right.
good. Ranked 20th. The Saints, you ready for
but
this?
significantly better than last year for us.
Yeah. Last year was 108.
Yeah.
The Saints
So we've
quarter
dropped to
opposing
18 points.
the quarterbacks that face the Saints have a 116 quarterback rating.
Jesus.
And so then I saw that, and I had a few minutes, before we came on here. I went all the way back to 1985 before I got tired of it and stopped. Could not find a higher number that any team had surrendered since 1985.
That's
That is the
historically
highest.
bad.
That is the highest quarterback rating, according to ProFootballReference.com, which is just the greatest site.
I love Pro Football Reference.
Yeah, no team has surrendered that high of a quarterback rating, dating at least back to that day. And so, you gotta, we blew him out, but let's
So John,
put it into context.
so you're
a
saying
little
John
bit.
Beck would have had a fantastic game against this Saints team, huh?
John Beck would have looked like John Elway, yes.
Yeah. By the way, just Pro Football Reference, really, I go there at least once a day
Oh, yeah,
looking
it's
at
great.
random football stats.
It's great.
Anyone who doesn't use Pro Football Reference for their data, you're missing out.
I
It's
don't-
just a perfect site for
I don't
a lot
pay
of
him. I
information.
know you can pay him and get more stuff, but you can get, you can get almost anything you want without having to pay them. I think.
Yeah, and they do it for not just NFL. They do it for every sport.
Yeah, there's
They
basketball
have
and baseball,
baseball
too.
reference. There's a basketball reference, all by the same guys.
But
Great,
anyway,
great web.
I
great outfit.
digress. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. But I had to
No, it's
get
all
that
right.
stat out because that was just amazing how historically bad the Saints defense is in the passing
Yeah.
defense. My goodness. Okay. So, but back to have we covered the Saints or the Saints, the Bears offense?
the Bears.
Yeah,
Gosh.
pretty much. I mean, it's
The Bears.
really stopping Matt Forte and Alshon Jeffrey. Eddie Royal can hurt you. I mean, he's a good, solid, secondary target to Alshon Jeffrey. But I mean, they were a lot more dangerous when it was Brandon Marshall and
Right.
Alshon Jeffrey. So I think we can expect Alshon Jeffrey to pretty much be exactly what Brandon Marshall was for us when we played the Jets. He's not
Right.
going to kill us outright, but he's going to be
He'll get his.
exactly. He will get his no matter what. So, just try to limit it as much as you can, and then live with it.
So, the more we're talking about it, the more I can't help but think: is Jay Cutler kind of the weak link when it comes to the playmaking aspects of their offense?
No, I mean when
Or is
he's
it they're all
he's on, he's really on.
No, I understand that, but so is it a question of we just got to disrupt Cutler? Like that needs to be the first focus of the defense.
Yes,
is getting in his head a
yes.
little.
Yeah.
Get pressure
gotta
on
get-
Cutler, make him flustered, get him off his
Gotcha.
game, and we should be golden.
Yeah, if you let Cutler get into a groove, bad things are going to happen. But when he goes bad, it really goes bad. So I think that's the key. You got to get pressure on Cutler, a lot of it.
Gotcha. I like that.
But at the
I
same
like that
time,
as
you can't let Eddie Royal and company, burn you when you're running. Not that Joe Barry's going to blitz, but if you did blitz, you got to pretend, keep that from happening.
I don't think Joe Barry has a blitz in his package.
No, I don't either.
Anywhere.
He doesn't know
No.
what blitzing is.
He maybe has a 5-man rush somewhere that he can call,
That he's
but
never
that's the
used. I
I
closest.
thought you were making a package pun joke.
I might have been making a couple jokes.
Okay, I was.
Are
I
you
was
saying
trying to
Joe
catch
Barry
on to
doesn't
that.
have a package? Is that what you're saying?
I think that went over Steve's head.
It did.
That's all right.
Is it
I think
how
it went
big is
over-
this package?
I didn't execute it very well.
I think
Much
it
like
went
the
over. I
offense.
think it went over everybody's head, Alex.
Yeah, it's all right.
I was with you.
Half the
just didn't
stuff I
anything.
say is a joke and no one realizes it.
except that.
All right.
Well,
what else do we need to talk
we're-
about?
I mean,
Predictions,
we
I
are
guess.
kind of 40 minutes in almost, but I don't know. We could talk about anything. I feel like we've kind of covered the Bears.
Let's go into predictions then.
Yeah, we could do predictions. Oh, you know what?
Okay.
One thing I want to kind of bring up for our listeners, we are going to be making changes to things like our website, to a little bit of how we do the show format-wise, just, trying to spice things up, especially after the season. So if listeners have anything that they would like to suggest, I'm just going to put this out there. Go ahead
That's
and
not
email
X-rated.
us at yeah. Nothing too stupid or like weird. Actually, too stupid might be good.
Yeah.
So do the too
Stupid
stupid
sounds
stuff.
good.
Yeah, weird. Let's avoid
We're
weird.
we're a family
But,
website though.
Yeah. Go ahead and email us
PG-13.
at the Hogside.
PG-13.
Yes,
There you
PG-13.
go. Fair enough.
Hogseye@gmail.com. Just email us or tweet us. Give us any ideas you have. I'm trying to redesign the website, and I'm not a web designer, but I'm giving it my shot. So
make it look
I just
nice
wanted to put
and
that out
pretty.
there. Yeah.
You know more than we do, Alex. We're relying
Yeah.
on you, buddy.
God help us all.
All right, so
Predictions.
Alex,
I'll go
what
first.
do you, all right, Steve.
I'll go.
ahead.
Let me go first. I'll go first.
Okay.
I never get to go first on this. The Bears are going to win the game, people. We're terrible on the road. The weather's going to be bad. I think it'll be I don't think they'll surrender, and just have a total butt kicking. But I think the Bears are going to win by something along the lines of 10 points. So I'm looking at maybe 28, 28-20. That's 8 points.
28-20?
But yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I think this is going to be kind of like last week. It's going to be a lot of 3-and-out type
God, I
drives,
hope
back
not.
and forth.
Oh, so boring.
I hope not, but I'm kind of just getting that vibe. I think
Because of
the
the
Skins
weather.
are probably still gassed. I'm also going to say it's a loss, but I'm going to say it's 17-14, and maybe we miss a field goal last second where we're trying to tie it up.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
If this was a home game, I'd say we'd win, but our history tells us right now that we suck on the road. Kirk sucks on the road for the most part, and
Struggles.
so there's no real confidence to say to really think there's a chance for them to win this on the road. So I'm going to say, I don't know, 17-14 Bears.
Okay, so you and I are at the same boat.
Low scoring game, huh?
Yep.
I think Jay's going to put up a few touchdowns on us. Jay Cutler, that is.
Yeah, you got to say Jay Cutler because we got our Jay.
Jay Gruden is on our side.
I can't
Yeah.
I can't suit up anymore. I'm too fat.
Hey, Jay, what's your
Yeah.
prediction for the game? You have a prediction, Jay?
You obviously want to come out with a win. You can't root against the team you coach for. So I think we're going to go out there and win it.
There you go.
Do you have a plan to get that done other than just, run every first down and, run a screen pass and pass the ball a couple inches and hope for the best?
My initial plan is to run Alfred a couple times first quarter, and then just get tired of him and put in Matt Jones, and then just run with Matt Jones for the rest of the game.
Let Matt
that
Jones run
actually
into
will
a
be
wall
probably the
for
plan.
20 carries a game.
I'm going to keep Josh
will be the
Laribas
plan.
in at center. I like his high snaps. I like him to keep Kirk Cousins on his toes and make quick adjustments to the high snaps.
Hey, Jay, I want to ask you a question about Laribas.
All right.
Do you give Laribas a snap count, or does he just snap the ball when he feels like it?
We pretty much just say, Josh, go for it. Go with what you feel like. Keep. Sorry. Man, that cracked me up.
Robbie's
Go with
losing
what you
character
feel
now.
like. Go with what you feel like. Keep Kirk on his toes, like I said.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why
That's
Trent Williams has been jumping off sides because he can't keep up with Josh's his groove.
That's a heck of a way to run a football team, Jay.
Oh, you better believe it.
This is going to be I hope, as long as it's a close game, I think this will be okay, this game, even if we lose.
Yep.
Listen,
I think
this
that-
is the Waterloo game, okay?
No,
Yes, it is.
no,
if
the
if
Waterloo game
no,
was last
If
week.
we
no,
lose this one,
no.
it's all over.
That's what I mean. It's
okay.
I wrote this. This is a preview of the game. Preview, people. This is the
teaser.
Waterloo game. If we lose, it's a teaser. If we lose it, the season is over. The competitive portion of the season will be over, unless
If we're 8 losses, we're not going to the playoffs.
unless every other team in the NFC East happens to lose also.
Well,
I just
Yeah.
think if they lose against the Bears, the team is going to collapse, and that's going to be it.
real quick, who do the other teams play in the division this week?
There's
Giants have
there's
Miami.
a lot of interdivision play, obviously.
Giants have Miami.
Let me look.
They
Yeah.
probably will win that one.
Is Dallas playing Minnesota or no? Wait, Minnesota's playing right now.
Minnesota's playing right now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look it up here, but I mean, the point is, no matter what
play
happens, if they lose, I think everything's gonna go downhill.
Cowboys play the Packers, and the
They'll
Eagles
lose.
play the Bills.
Right, the Eagles-Bills game. That's going to be.
It's probably in
little-
Buffalo, isn't it?
I actually
Is
think
it in
that
Buffalo?
Yeah, I think so. No, I think
That's
it's
going to be a
at
chippy
Eagles.
game.
I think
It's
Eagles
at
are going to
Philly?
win this. I think Philly's going to win this one.
Yeah, Buffalo's been in a funk.
And especially after that
Well, it couldn't-
game against the Patriots, they're going to be, kind of
High. Yeah.
riding into that
Mm-hmm.
game with some good momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. You never know. That's why we play the games.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I
Okay,
just, this is.
any other final thoughts, guys? Or is
Well,
that-
thanks for joining us, Jay. By the way, we were glad to have you. We hope you can come back again and join us on another episode.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find a way to bring me back, as usual.
Yeah. Yep. Because we only have one impression. We do.
I have more, but it's not relevant.
Right.
We could have Christopher,
folks.
we could have
this is-
Christopher Walken come on the show, but he has nothing to do with football.
Right.
I'm
Well, that's what I
always
mean.
happy
We
to
need
come
more
back
football
on and give
impressions.
you the Frogs' perspective on football, but I'm not sure that I would have very much to say.
I'm a very big Redskins fan because of the Hogs, Kermie.
Piggy,
Well,
it's
that
time to
about
go.
does it for this episode of the Hog Style. I think.
He's losing his mind.
We're winging
if
it
I'm
today,
the same
folks.
one on the show, that doesn't work.
We're winging it today, folks.
All right, guys. Check us out on Twitter at the Hogsty. We're on Facebook. You know where that is. You know our website because I say the Hogsty a lot. So it's thehogsty.com. Thanks very much. And
Stay sane.
we have a... thank you, Robbie, for messaging me this. We have a nice guest coming on next week. And I just nailed down the date and time with him, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. Radio's Danny Rouillet is going to be on our show. Robbie and I are super excited for this because we both kind of want to be him.
Yes.
He's an old Redskins insider poster, and I kind of talked to him on Facebook, and he agreed to come on. I don't know why. Just if you are a fan of his, he's got he's doing some stand up at the Improv this weekend. So you guys should all go check that out as well. Check it out on his website,
Yes, indeed.
which I think is DannyRouillet.com. I'm not sure. But that does it for this show of the Hogsty. So we will see you guys after the game.
The Bears.
God damn it, Robbie.
Oh, man.